Thank you all for doing that. First topic is the introduction to IVSA. This is the presentation now. Again, hello everyone. My name is Wanda, and I'm currently the president of IVSA. And as you know, you're right now at IVSA General, the IVSA event, which we have to have our General Assembly. And IVSA is the largest veterinary student association in the world. So, what is IVSA? I already mentioned it, International Veterinary Student Association. It was established in 1963 in Germany, and we are the largest veterinary student association, a non-profit, non-governmental organization run by volunteer veterinary students from around the world. Our mission statement is to benefit the animals and people of the world by harnessing the potential and dedication of veterinary students to promote the international application of them. Some national member organizations consist of several local chapters, but some have none. This is our current official street. I understand it's a bit hard to see it, but basically in the center is my name, and then we have around me the 8 people from the executive committee. So actually 10 people from the executive committee together with our post treasurer, and then underneath committee coordinator or all the committee and network chairs. Under member organization director or 5 regional representatives. Then we have secretaries without whom we wouldn't be able to function. And lastly, we have our trusts who are here to help us whenever we have individual or group ones. We have different committees and networks that I already mentioned. We are having our development fund, in charge of which is our development director. So you will see during this event, we will have different times when we are selling merch from IVSA. We are having silent and live auction to gather money so we can channel it to a good use to help our daily beneficiaries. Besides that, we have congresses and symposiums. Right now we are on a symposium during July, August is our conference. Each year, IVSA exchange officer can organize a group exchange with other IVSA member organizations, and the exchange officer will help you find out the accommodation and places to travel, and that is part of our IVSA exchange program. Here is slowly short, brief introduction of what is a group exchange. I really hope that some of you had an opportunity to be a part of one, and I think that most of you know it's a great experience, either if it's an online or in-person group exchange. You meet other people from all over the world, students, and you exchange your culture. You have also some kind of educational aspect, and it was very nice and enjoyable. Besides that, we are having standing committees and networks. So right now, currently we have 5 standing committees. We have 1 official network, that is alumni network for our members that graduated, and then we have 3 candidate networks that are still in the process of getting to be an official network. I will briefly mention each one of the committees and networks. So the first one is standing committee on veterinary education, and with us here is also our chair, Colby, Moana, there. If you haven't talked to her, you will have the opportunity to talk to her. And there will also be a workshop organized from veterinary, from standing committee on veterinary education. Then we have standing committee on career attributes, and Susan is with us, that is our chair. who is organizing workshop in collaboration with schools. You will have the opportunity to meet some of them because there is another event happening at the same time as this event is taking place. So I hope you will take some time to talk to them and see that maybe they can give you some advice. It's always nice to see what they didn't like. Then we have equine network, and I believe Luna is here or no? Oh, the alumni is there in the back. So they're also one of the networks that is still waiting to get on to be official. We are having Wild and Exotic Network, which so Jesus is also with us here, also organizing a workshop. So if you want more information in general about the workshops, you can always check the information, but you can talk to the chair directly. They were the one in charge of organizing it, so they can give you always good information. And we are having newly established pathology network or baby network that was established in Denmark, and it's a very, very fast. So unfortunately, Giovanni is not with us here today, but yeah, that is a new network. Then we are having, I will just briefly mention all over again what I already mentioned before, what is development fund doing. So you will see that there will be merch that we are going to sell. Some of you pre-ordered already. Some of you will have the opportunity to buy things even though they did not pre-order it. And the money that is used from selling the merch and from the live and silent auctions, I really hope you did bring things for it, is used for different activities. Some of them are like scholarship grants, in which we are sending, depending on the term, like I think 4 students to do their internship somewhere. Then we are having IVSA MO fund, in which we are helping MOs pay their membership fee. To Be Kind Award, which is currently active, but RDAD will talk more about it. So I don't think everything we are doing to use these spots for the event, and the rest I believe I mentioned. So here's again a bit about what is scholarship grant, what is the Be Kind Award, which is an old project that we are trying to revive now. So like keep in mind about it. You will hear more about this data from our DAD, but you can always again talk to them during the event. That's the point. We use these spots for the Congress Symposium. IVSA merchandise that I mentioned. Membership fee funds that I also already mentioned. And live and silent auctions, which is always a very fun part of the event. Okay. Yeah, this is just explaining how it works, but I don't want to take your time now because I believe you will forget it and everything will be explained to you prior to it happening. This is a new thing that we have. It's the donor box, in which we would like to encourage all of you and all them all. If they do different kinds of fundraising, they can visit our website or send this QR code which takes you to a link in which you can directly donate to the DAC fund for different types of causes. Congress of yeah, I was just checking if one word. Congress of Symposia, I will not explain it a lot because I really think that there is not enough explanation about it, that you will experience it here if you're here first time. If not, some of you are here for the second, third, or I don't know, like some of our trustees for the 10th time. So the experience is always amazing and you meet a lot of people and it's always very nice. During the events we have open ceremonies, we already have general assemblies that we are at now, and then we have different lectures like the educational aspect, workshops. Today you will also be a part of international stands, and which is something that everybody are looking forward to always is a cultural evening in which you can experience different cultures through food and drink that everybody brings. this is just what is planned for the future from our events. Right now we are in Indonesia. During August we will be in Peru, and then beginning of 2025, the plan is to be in Morocco. And I will just briefly mention some of our international collaborations and partnerships. Our diamond sponsor is Purina Institute, which you can see on all of the official shirts, of course, and you also get some merch from them. And there will be some presentations given by them. Then other sponsors that we are having is also Realtani, Viva, and Purina brands, which we are doing different projects, and which sponsor the work of IVSA so that we could have it at all. Finally, these are our partners. You saw the presentations from some of them. We had the WBA presentation. You will also have an opportunity to meet one of the SAVA members who is visiting us. They will be giving the presentation, and they will be with us through some parts of the event. So I would really like to encourage you to do not be afraid and talk to them. If you are interested in anything or you want to know more about the SAVA, yeah, go for it. Then we are having the FEPAVA, World Organization for Animal Health, Global Food Partners, African Public Health Student Network Initiative, and IVSA. And of course, European Commission. We are having AVMA, that's the video I was talking about. FB, International, we are part of International Student One Health Alliance. We are also working with our sister organizations like International Pharmaceutical Students Federation and ACC. And here are a bit more. FORPAWS, World Health Student Alliance, ADE Foundation, ECOSOC, the National Federation of Medical Students Associations, International Agricultural Association of Students, and Federation of Asian Missionary Associations. And as I mentioned, we have some publications like IVSA journals and bulletins. We are sending monthly bulletins to our member organizations, but we are also spreading it out, and soon with members portal, which will also be a presentation to the GA. We hope to send it to all of you directly, so you can be more informed actually on what's going on inside of IVSA. And I will, of course, always invite you to follow our social media. So we have Facebook, IVSA page, we have Instagram, we are having, then if you are interested in our past publications, we are having IVSA, okay. We are having IVSA journal. If you want to know the past issues, you can always visit this website that is written here. Then our newly established website in which all of the opportunities are put, so you can always check that out. I would also definitely recommend it, or just to get general information about IVSA and what are we doing. Then our member organization director, together with 15 representatives, has different, so MOD has on its own their Instagram account, but there are also, depending on the region, other Instagram accounts, so follow them. Follow our DAD Instagram page to stay up to date with everything that is going on and to see if there are any opportunities for you or the ways that you can help. And that is it. Join us now. That was it. Thank you. And now we are, yes, Lisa Boyd.
What should...
What should people do if they want to learn more? People should just briefly explain about a few things.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for the question. So if you want to in generally know more, as I said throughout the presentation, I would really encourage you to talk to any of the officials, so any of the people in blue right now or me in orange at any point. If you do not want to, if you want to have a question sometime in the future, you can always contact us through our social media or through our email, and I believe that would answer your question. In general, who would be the best person to contact for sure is our member organization director, Timo, because he is in charge of member organizations, therefore members, or any of his regional representatives based on from which member organization you are. We are having 5 regions, so whatever feels most comfortable for you. Anybody else have any questions? I'm sorry, I didn't ask for questions. You have a question? Okay. Then I guess we can move on. It's more boring, but I can. Okay, so next topic is Robert's Rules of Ordering Newly Revised. Just to, I know it sounds very complicated, but it is not. And I am going to go through this presentation. In the past, it was more complicated, but thankfully, our trustee, basically Mateo, who is here with us, went through the old rules, made a whole new GA manual, and tried to explain it as easily as possible. So I really think that it will be easier for you. You can also find this presentation and the GA booklet with all the information on Delegate Drive. So if I will, of course, ask for questions after this, but if you do not have them right now, you can always go to the Delegate Drive, or you can go to your buddies. Buddies explaining throughout this presentation what they mean, and our member organization director will also explain to you what you need to do. Okay, so the IVSA General Assembly. So first, what is the General Assembly? The General Assembly is the supreme decision-making body of the IVSA and consists of delegates and observers present at its meeting. So that's you right now, all of you here. During the GA, delegates are representing their national envoys or member organizations, discuss and make decisions that affect the IVSA's actions and policies. So you between your member organization, depending on what we are talking about here, gather up, discuss, and then it depends. You either want to be a part of the discussion or sometimes you vote on stuff, so you all came to come to a mutual agreement about different things. Okay. So the General Assembly is run according to Robert's Rules of Order newly revised. I already mentioned that. And these rules create a professional, fair, and productive environment for discussion and decision making. Basically, in order to be mindful of each other and to have some kind of rules and orders, because there is a lot of you, we are using this Robert's Rules of Order. So just to make it easier for everybody and make it a more friendly environment. The GA, so you should strive to adhere to the rules, but avoid excessive strictness and technicalities if that might undermine the overall success of the meeting. So, of course, throughout the meetings, you will make some mistakes. Big mistakes, we will try to solve always. But if there is something minor, we do not need to be super strict about it. If there is something that does not affect meetings as a whole that much, we are not going to be harsh on it. The GA elects the people that enforce the rules that are called officials of the GA. And the officials of the GA are the chair, that is me currently, but we will be electing a new one. The The chair is responsible for keeping the order of the GA, giving delegates the floor to speak, organizing the discussion, and announcing the voting results. So that is the person that kind of is holding the GA, in charge of GA. And the chair must always remain neutral, meaning they cannot give their opinions on the discussions we are having. So they cannot vote, participate in the discussion, or make motions. I will later on explain what are the motions. The parliamentarian ensures that the GA respects the IVSA's constitution, bylaws, and Robert's rules of order duly required. Meaning, as I explained before, if there are major mistakes, parliamentarian is here to tell us, oh, you're doing this wrong. They should strive to remain neutral, however, they maintain their right to vote, discuss, and make motions. So they can be a part of discussions, but they need to try not to be. And then we have the election committee, which we need for the elections. We are having different elections this time. We are having the president elections, the host of the next the Congress that is 2 years away. Yeah. 1.5. Okay, 7.45 years the Congress. And if we are missing or need to have some additional elections like we're doing now for secretary, then that as well. So the election committee governs policy voting during the GA and consists of 3 people, of whom at least one must be a former or current member of the executive committee. So the 8 people I mentioned. Members of the election committee can't nominate or be nominated in any election, so they need to be completely neutral. The Secretary General of the Exco is automatically the Secretary of the GA. So the Secretary is the person that takes minutes, and for us it is UNES because he's our Secretary General. They are responsible for the roll call and the start of each meeting, coordinating roll call votes, and keeping minutes of the GA. Before the GA, all member organizations are assigned to a body. That's what I mentioned. An experienced IVSA member who understands the procedures and the rules of both IVSA and the GA. So that is the person, you can ask anybody, but that is the person who is in charge of you, so to say, so who you can ask anything really at any time. And they are usually sitting among you. That's the idea. They are here for you throughout the whole GA. Bodies are responsible for guiding and supporting, as I said. The delegates ensure they understand the procedures and are informed to shape their opinions. How is the GA structured? So, first of all, let's distinguish between a meeting and a session of the GA, and that was something that was very hard for me. So, each time the GA gathers to discuss and make decisions without interrupting the proceedings, except for a short recess, which is a short break actually, it constitutes a meeting of the GA. A session of the GA consists of all the meetings that occur within a particular time frame, such as during the Congress or Symposium. So during the Symposium week, we have general sessions, but then we have general meetings each day that are numbered. Separate meetings of the GA are referred to based on their segment, GA1, GA2, and so forth. You will see that in the itinerary that was sent. Meetings can vary in length and purpose. You will see that as well. Okay. So, as I said, meetings can vary in length and purpose. Our recess is a break in a meeting during which delegates can temporarily leave the meeting area. After recess, the meeting is resumed exactly where it was interrupted. And then we have standing at ease. On the other hand, that involves a brief pause in a meeting during which delegates can engage in quiet conversations but cannot leave the meeting area. Delegates can request to stand at ease before voting to consult with other members of the same MO and with their body. A meeting is adjourned when it is declared to be officially over. When the last meeting of the session is concluded, the whole session is adjourned and the GA will not reconvene until the next Congress or Symposium. I hope that makes sense. During the GA, business, which is different topics, different issues that we are discussing, is conducted following the order set in the agenda. Each topic listed on the agenda is called an agenda point. While the agenda dictates the sequence of business, it usually does not prescribe the time to address each point. When the time to address an agenda point is specified, it's called an order of the day. Orders of the day take precedence over other agenda points. All points that are not scheduled to be addressed at a specified meeting or time are typically listed in the agendas as GA1 onwards. They are discussed in the order they come up, starting from the GA1 until they have all been addressed and resolved. The agenda has to be approved by the GA at its first meeting. So this is something that we are going to see here. The quorum, very important, is the minimum number of all active IVSA member organizations that must be present for the GA to be able to make a decision. And this is very important to emphasize. That's why we need you to be present here, even when you're tired, unfortunately, because otherwise we can just talk about things, but we cannot vote on anything, so we cannot move forward with anything. Currently, the quorum is 40% and must always be maintained during the GA, otherwise no vote can be taken. So for this reason, once the GA starts, delegates can leave the meeting area. That's why we have breaks, and like you should not leave the room at your own time just because you need to. To determine the quorum, the SG calls out loud the names of the MOs and asks them to confirm their presence. That is going to be done today. And then we have a next thing, how are decisions made? It all begins with a motion. So a motion is a formal proposal made by any delegate and submitted to the GA. Any motion is valid as long as it follows the Robert Rules of Order to revise the bylaws and the Constitution. Only one motion can be discussed at a time. There can be no vote unless there is a motion on the floor. That is very important. After a motion has been voted on, it's not possible to make another identical or almost identical motion during the same session. So now it's very important, how do you make a motion? So in order to make a motion, you need to obtain the floor. So you need to, the chair needs to recognize you. So you raise your hand and wait for the chair to recognize you. After that, after the chair recognizes you, so I say, like I said to Lisa, you need to stand up and identify yourself by clearly stating in the microphone. Important things. So your full name, your member organization, and your bidding number. Bidding number is written on your GA badges, and it is the badges, and it is very important for us because it's much easier for our Secretary General to take minutes in this way. Now you can make your motion beginning with I move that or I move to, followed by the proposed action. So we raise our hand, we say all the information is listed, then we say I move that or I move to with what you want to do. To be discussed, most motion requires support from at least 1 second after it has been proposed. We will have an example, just so you know. Once a motion has been made, the chair must entertain it, which means they recognize it as valid. To do so, they have to restate the motion to the assembly, ensuring everyone understands it, open debate, allowing delegates to discuss the motion. The chair must ensure that everybody has a chance to share their opinion. And when the debate has concluded, the chair will call for a vote on the motion for the I will now do an example, but one also very important thing is the chair is always trying to give everybody a chance to speak, meaning that if Lisa already spoke and she has her hand raised, but there is another person that did not speak yet, the chair usually goes for the person that hasn't until everybody were able to say what they think. So let's see an example. As you see, the John Doe raised their hand, and then Chair said, John Doe, you may speak. And then John Doe said, John Doe, IVSA Belgium, bidding number 32. I move to make, and then after that, he is doing a motion. I move to make a round of applause for our amazing OC. And then somebody needs to yell, second.
Second.
And the motion on the floor is to make a round of applause for the OC. So now that it has been seconded, the chair, who is me, I recognize it, and now I repeated what was on the floor, and I asked if is there any discussion on the motion. So does anybody want to say something about this motion? Maybe they agree, maybe they disagree, and so on. So here we have Jane Ross, who also raised her hand and wants to discuss it. So Chair said, Jane Ross, you may speak. Jane Ross did the same thing. Jane Ross, IVSA, Britannia, bidding number 87. The OC has been incredible, so I agree they deserve some love and appreciation. Again, me. Thank you, Jane. Is there any other discussion? And we are now imagining that nobody said anything. And now, is there any objection? Because that's something that always needs to be asked. Seeing none, the motion passes. You can now clap your hands. Okay, as I said, as the chair needs to be neutral, the chair cannot make and let the GA know that they would accept a particular motion by saying, for example, the chair will entertain a motion too. So this is just like a chair suggests you to take this motion. And then if you think that the chair did a smart thing and like, okay, I like what the chair wants to do, but the chair cannot put it on the floor, what you need to do, you need to request the floor and move that motion by saying I so move. Another example with that. So the chair will entertain a motion to go into recess. So I added that as a suggestion. So we have again John Doe. So John Doe, you may speak. John Doe, I guess Belgium bidding number 32. I so move. And this again needs a second. It again needs the support from somebody else. So now the motion is to go into recess, and that's it. Is that okay? Easy, right? Now we have some other important stuff after we went through motions. Debate refers to discussing the merits of a pending motion. In this section, delegates may not speak unless recognized and given the floor by the chair. The person who proposed the motion under consideration has the right to speak before other members. To discuss a motion again, a delegate who has already spoken on it must wait until all other members who wish to discuss that motion have had a chance to do so. That's something I mentioned previously. When a delegate has the floor, their intervention must be relevant to the topic under discussion. Delegates are not allowed to engage in direct discussions with each other. That's very important. So when speaking, delegates must always address the chair and refrain from directly addressing other members using their names, referring to them as the previous speaker. So I cannot say, oh, Lisa, I didn't like what you said. I can say like, I disagree with what was said by the previous speaker, to stay neutral. The chair should be addressed in the third person as the chair. Finally, delegates must always be respectful to one another. That's very important. The GA is a place of safe discussion, and nobody should act in a way that would make others uncomfortable or discourage them from speaking their mind. There are two classes of motions. That's very important. So we have main motions that propose new business to the GA and can only be made and discussed when there is no other motion on the floor. And then we have secondary motions that are generally arise from and apply to another motion. Therefore, they can be made and discussed even while there is other business pending. So there need to refer to some core motion. Some secondary motions are used to modify the layout disposal of other motions, and these are to amend. A motion can be amended to change the wording, remove, or add anything to it. An amendment can be amended itself, but an amendment of an amendment cannot be further amended. That's good for your fun. Yeah. Then we have to limit the debate. This is used to set a limit to the duration and number of interventions that can be made during the debate. Interventions means how many times somebody can be a part of it. And then we have the previous question is moved to end all debate and bring to the vote on the pending motion. So if we are going into circles or something, and we feel like we are not going into the right track, we can always move the previous question and we are going to vote directly. To table and to postpone to a certain time, these similar motions are used to postpone the consideration of a motion or an agenda point to a later time during the same session. You will see that that happens sometimes, even though we plan our agenda, not everything goes to the plan, so we need to convince people things and use them for another meeting. The main difference is that when a motion is tabled, the time to resume it is not set, right? So we do not say, okay, we are tabling this now and we are going to talk about it in a GA2. And then we have to postpone indefinitely. This completely removes the motion from the consideration of the GA, filling it without having to go. It is useful when the motion before is fully chosen, and either adopting or rejecting it is in the best interest of the GA. Delay, they take precedence over the other. These motions are to go into stand at ease and to adjourn, to allow the assembly to interrupt or terminate its proceedings. Point of privilege is raised to introduce a request or a motion addressing urgent matters relating to the rights or safety of the GA or the comfort of its members, such as noise, room temperature, lighting, ventilation, and other disturbances. So you just say point of privilege, and then you say what bothers you or you think is a problem during the GA. Specific points of privilege can be efficiently communicated without interrupting the proceedings using a color card system. The color cards, together with voting cards, are put in the delegate's drive in a folder, like in a document, just so you know. So we have different colors. Yellow one, which is for the speaker, when the speaker is talking too fast, you want them to slow down, so you just raise the yellow card and the speaker can see you and they slow down. Then we have the orange card, if you cannot hear somebody, so that they know to speak a bit louder. If the discussion is confusing and challenging to follow, delegates can raise a blue card and then chair needs to summarize what has been discussed. Some secondary issues that require immediate attention and resolution before the day can continue. They are undebatable and delegates can make them without being recognized by the chair, even if it interrupts others temporarily. And these are point of order. It is made when someone notices that a violation of the rules and wants to request their enforcement. So if you see that something is going completely wrong, not following the rules, seeing that parliamentarian didn't do anything about it or the chair didn't say anything about it, you can do point of order. When they notice a serious breach in the rules, delegates can just stand up and say point of order out loud, but they must do it promptly, addressing the issue by the person. So not so like I do something wrong right now, you notice it, and then if tomorrow you address it in the GA. Then we have parliamentary inquiry, that is a motion made to obtain information about the role of ordinary revised, the bylaws, and the constitution of the state. So when you're unsure about something, then we have point of information, that is a question directed to the chair or a thought or through the chair to another delegate to obtain information not related to GA procedures or other IVSA rules. So if you're unsure about something. And then we have a motion to withdraw. A motion can be withdrawn without a vote by the person who originally made it before the chair entertained it. So you make a motion, and you see, oh, I actually didn't like this motion. I think it's not good to be discussed. You can decide to withdraw it, but if you make it. After the motion has been stated by the chair, it can only be withdrawn with the approval of the GA. So that is very important. So you say a motion, if I repeat it already and as for the discussion, in order to withdraw it, we all need to agree on it. Finally, some secondary motions are used to bring back again other motions under this consideration of the GA, and these are to untable, as I said, sometimes we need a table and then untable things. So untable has the purpose of bringing back a motion that was previously tabled, together with any pending secondary motions that might adhere to it. To reconsider is used to review and potentially reverse the outcome of the vote. It allows the GA to reopen the discussion on a motion that has been voted on during the current or the previous meeting of the GA, but not an older motion. So something that it has been recent. What about voting? Very important. The IVSA uses an MO-based voting system, with each active member organization getting 2 votes on any pending question or position to be voted on. So each member organization has their own 2 votes. Delegates from each MO must come to an agreement between themselves as to how they want to get their 2 votes. That's very important. It's not the person who is clicking the vote that has the power to decide at all. The point is that you as a member organization discuss things and come to mutual agreement on how this person who is just reading it is going to vote. At the beginning of every session of the GA, active member organization must select 1 delegate who will take the votes of their country. When voting on a motion, MOs can vote in favor or against it. However, when it comes to elections, MOs can express their preferences for different candidates, but cannot vote against the candidate. That's very important. We are a friendly organization. We are not voting against somebody. MOs can cast their 2 votes differently on the same matter and make a split vote, for example, casting 1 vote in favor and 1 vote against the motion. MOs can also abstain from casting the vote for various reasons, like a lack of strong opinion, desire to remain neutral, or conflict of interest. Abstentions are not included in the vote count as they are subtracted from the total number of votes. Therefore, abstaining from voting and voting against are not the same thing. Keep that in mind. There are several methods used to vote on a motion, and these are unanimous consent. So if the chair anticipates no opposition to a motion, they may ask whether anyone objects to it. If there is no objection, the motion passes on unanimous consent. So I think as we had an example, you saw the chair, is there any discussion? Is there any objections? If everybody was silent, it just passes. Card raising votes. The standard method of voting on motions in IVSA is using colored voting cards. The voting delegate from each active MO will receive 2 green, 2 red, and 2 white cards. This allows MOs to either vote in favor, against, or abstain, or a combination of the above. These votes, as I said, together with the yellow, blue, and orange card is in a document, so that's something that we are going to use for votes. We're not using papers because we like these are all the possible options for a vote. 2 in favor, 2 against, abstention, 1 in favor, 1 against, 1 against, 1 abstention, 1 in favor, 1 abstention. Voting cards can also be divided into the form, as I said. Roll call voting. So during the roll call vote, each MO is asked to say their 2 votes out loud when the secretary calls their name. So the next will say IVSA Mauritania, and the delegates will be part of the vote of that member organization will stand up and say 2 votes in favor, for example, 2 votes against, or whatever you decide to do, however you decide. It is used if the GA has a divided opinion on a motion, if a simple majority is not enough, or if the GA requests. I will just go briefly back to this to explain it better. So if we do, for example, a hard vote, and it's mixed, so it's a lot of red and green, not just red, or just green. Chair will see it and will call and will entertain a motion to go no, I didn't want to say that. Now I mixed it. I'm sorry. So if we are having a discussion and we ask if there is any objection, and then you have objections, and there is another discussion going on, the chair or somebody can entertain a motion to go into a card raising vote, just to be sure of what, like how it looks. And then if card raising vote is a bit unclear because you all just raise your cards at the same time, and we are not sure if we have a majority for either vote, yes or no. We are usually going to how is it called? Roll call voting. That's what. And then we have another option, secret ballot, and includes one confidentiality is required or desired. Each MO receives two separate identical ballots to cast their two votes. Although it's not a common practice to vote on motions, it's the only method used to vote during the election. There are two different voting systems used for the election by the secret ballot, and it is optional preferential voting. This voting system is used where only one candidate is to be elected for a position instead of just voting for a single person. Voters can rank the nominees in order of preference. If the candidate receives an outright majority, they are declared winner, so more than 50%. If no candidate has a majority after the first count, the one with the fewest first preferences is eliminated, and the votes for the eliminated person are then redistributed to the remaining nominees based on the number of second preferences indicated on those ballots. This process is repeated until one candidate has a majority of votes. Plurality at large is used for bodies where more than one candidate is to be elected. That is for our trust and secretaries, we have 6 trustees and we have 4 secretaries. In the ballot, MOs may vote for as many candidates as the number of seats to be filled or less. The candidates with the most votes win the seat and a majority is not required. All decisions of the GA must be reached by a simple majority of those present and voting unless otherwise specified. The majority of GAs over half, over 50% of the votes cast by active members present with the exclusion of abstentions. That's something we mentioned previously. There are, however, some circumstances that represent an exception. For example, amendment of the bylaws and constitution may only be made with a 3/4 majority. Nominations for the IVSA of and now important part that we are going on to that now. Soon, nominations for the IVSA officials and polls for Congress and Symposium will be open at the beginning of each GA meeting until GA4. So, how to nominate somebody? First of all, to explain, you cannot nominate yourself. Somebody else needs to nominate you. So, in order to be nominated, somebody needs to nominate, and this person, any IVSA member, can be nominated for a position, whether they're present or not. But the nominated person then has to accept or refuse the nomination. That's very important. If the nominated person is absent, another delegate must accept the nomination on their behalf. Members can only accept one nomination for any IVSA official position at a time. Is everything clear? If not, feel free to ask any questions you may have. So I would like to ask if there is any questions. If not right now, you can ask us at any point. Do not be scared about it. The chair will be in charge of helping you. Do not be scared to obtain the floor or make a mistake. That's normal. I made 100 mistakes, and well, now I'm presenting this to you. So you learn on your mistakes with that. With that being said, we are moving to our roll call of member organizations. That's the next topic in the agenda, and that is for our presentation of
Using IVSA Expo, well, as our president explained about the local, I'll be saying the use of our handles, and I would ask you to stand up and say present if you hear the name of your handle. Okay, you understand? Can you hear me? Okay. I will be saying the names of our handles, and I'll ask you to stand up and say present if you hear the name of your handle. Okay, so we will start. IVSA Algeria, IVSA Australia, IVSA Bangladesh, IVSA Belgium, IVSA Bosnia, IVSA Brazil, IVSA Bulgaria, IVSA Chile, IVSA China, IVSA Croatia, IVSA Cyprus, IVSA Czech Republic, IVSA Denmark. Thank you. IVSA Ecuador, IVSA Egypt, IVSA Estonia, IVSA Finland, IVSA France, IVSA Germany, IVSA Ghana, IVSA Greece, IVSA Grenada, IVSA Mongolia, IVSA India, IVSA Indonesia, IVSA Ireland, IVSA Italy, IVSA Japan, IVSA Latvia, IVSA Malawi, IVSA Malaysia, IVSA Mexico, IVSA Malaysia, IVSA Mexico, IVSA Morocco, IVSA Namibia, IVSA Nepal, IVSA Nigeria, IVSA Norway, IVSA Pakistan, IVSA Palestine, IVSA Peru, IVSA Poland, IVSA Portugal, IVSA Romania, IVSA Rwanda, IVSA Senegal, IVSA Slovenia, IVSA Slovenia, IVSA Serbia, IVSA Slovakia, IVSA South Africa, IVSA South Korea, IVSA Spain, IVSA Sudan, IVSA Sweden, IVSA Switzerland, IVSA Taiwan, IVSA Tanzania, IVSA Thailand, IVSA the Netherlands, IVSA Trinidad and Tobago, IVSA Tunisia, IVSA Turkey, IVSA Uganda, IVSA UK, IVSA Ukraine, IVSA USA, IVSA Venezuela, and IVSA Zimbabwe. John Michael Serrano, IVSA Expo, bidding number 54. There is one missing country in the wrong one. IVSA Philippines. Going to Southern. So 40, 64 and 76, so we have 4.
Okay, so we are moving on to the next topic of the agenda, which is the election of the chair, which is said I'm not going to be the one for the whole event. So, are there any nominees for the chair?
Sometimes I get the number 53. I want to nominate Mr. Bill and I give him the line question.
I'll accept your nomination.
I accept.
Are there any other nominations for the chair? Seeing none, we elected Lisa Warren as the new chair without a vote.
That means Donna can rest and I need to get to work. So, moving on, next point on the agenda, elections for parliamentarians. Are there any nominations for parliamentarians?
My affiliate, IVSA USA, bidding number 1 and 2. I would like to elect Cynthia Carnevale from IVSA USA.
Okay, we accept.
Dr. Morales, IVSA Italy, bidding number 64, I accept.
Are there any nominations for parliamentarians? Seeing none, Mateo is elected without a vote as a parliamentarian. Moving on to the next one, election of the election committee. Are there any nominations for election committee?
Hi, I am Dr. Ahmad from IVSA India, and my bidding number is 76. I nominate Mohana Mate of IVSA India for election.
Alright, do you accept?
Mohana Marathe, bidding number 66, IVSA India, I accept.
Are there any other nominations for election committee?
Hi, I'm Josephine Westphal from Germany, and my bidding number is 55, and I elect Susanna from Poland.
Susanna, do you accept?
Susanna Chade, IVSA Exco, bidding number 11, I accept.
Are there any other nominations for election committee?
John Ken, IVSA Taiwan, bidding number 81. I nominate Shio from IVSA Taiwan as the election committee.
Yeah, do you accept?
Yes, I accept.
Are there any other nominations for election committee? Seeing none, Susanna, Marlena, and Sheila are elected without a vote as our election committee. Moving on, next point on the agenda, election of report card auditors. Are there any nominations for report card auditors? I know, everyone wants to say something.
Bangladesh IVSA Expo. I will just briefly explain what this is because I believe not all of you are aware. So usually we do once a yearly evaluation of officials, so we do it with each other. We need to fill usually it's full of form. And then the job of the report card auditor is to go through the answers and pick like the key points that was said about the strengths and weaknesses of the person. And that is something that is just because otherwise it would be biased. We also do have John, who is our post-treasurer currently, who was report card auditor. So if you want to know more about it, I believe you can always reach out to him. He will be explaining better.
All right, thank you. And with that, I close this point on the agenda and move on to the next point, which is point 7, amendments to and approval of proposed agenda. Any comments? If not, I entertain the motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
No? Thank you.
Young and advocates, I want to number 81, I so move.
Thank you, guys. Now, there is a discussion open on the proposed agenda. Does anyone want to say something? Seeing no discussion, I move to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the proposed agenda is accepted. Right, moving on, next point on the agenda, which is nominations for president position for the term 2024-25. Are there any nominations? Yeah, don't.
I will take on 53. I would like to nominate the chief of I think I will take it as president.
Okay, we accept. As a result, the member for you, I accept.
Bada, I will take the one, sitting number 16. I nominate Tina Camille for president. Yes.
No, do you accept? What does that say? Do you accept?
Model is the exco, number 8, IVSA.
Other nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed now and they will be open again in the next few days. And we're moving on to the next point, which is nominations for secretarial position for 2024. Any nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed and will be open again in the next few days. Moving on, nominations for the second fourth IVSA Congress, which is the other half away. Are there any nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed and will be open again in the next year. Next one. Nominations for the second and fourth IVSA Symposium 2 years away. Are there any nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed and will be open again in the next year. And now we go on with GA Congress. any representatives? You got. All right, next point on the agenda. Approval of the minutes of the 72nd IVSA Congress in Denmark. Anyone wants to discuss that first?
This is my IVSA expert. I would like to inform you that the minutes have received some some friendly amendments, which is minor changes like adding correcting the grammar or like spelling, adding some full stop. So basically, no major changes. And so I move to approve the minutes of the 72nd IVSA Convention.
Very done. Is there any discussion on approving the minutes? Diana? Seeing none, the minutes of the event in Denmark are approved. Keep it up. All right, next one will be bylaw amendment 2.6, allocation of votes. Anyone wants to use that?
Quickly open because it's linked, so.
Can you just read it like this, or do I need to zoom in more?
Okay, so I will briefly explain this. First of all, I'm talking about it because, as it was mentioned previously, parliamentarians should strive to stay neutral, and this bylaw amendment is proposed by Matteo, and he is currently the parliamentarian. So he asked me to explain it to you, just so you know why am I not doing it. I'm not thinking your so the idea behind this bylaw is that currently in our bylaws, under the section 2.6 allocation of votes, we have a sentence that says nominees for a position in the IVSA officials are not allowed to place votes in the election. Yeah, no, I need to finish the whole line, sorry. So it says that each active member organization has 2 votes, as we said, and that each active member of the organization shall select 1 delegate to say who shall say the votes of their country. We do not allow voting by proxy, but the nominees for a position in the IVSA officials are not allowed to place votes in the election for this respective position. What does it mean practically? Meaning that if we this means practically that if we have a 1-person delegation here, let's say that IVSA Croatia is here, I would be the only delegate to take from it. I cannot vote for a position and I'm running for, because I would be the only one. No, there is nobody else who would be able to vote. So it takes my country out of the vote for this specific position. With that being said, what we want to do is basically remove this sentence. It would mean that it would allow the 1-person delegation to vote, even for the position they are running for. Why? First of all, because we think that from this, only larger delegations benefit, because if there are 2 people from some country and I'm running for the same country and I'm running for a position, probably the person that is coming from my country will still vote for me. But if I'm coming alone, then my vote is not there. So this benefits only larger delegations, and it tends to disadvantage members representing single person delegations. And these single person delegations often come from unprivileged countries, and that's part of the reason why we wanted to do it. Besides that, it is really hard to maintain it when doing the elections. I've been on the election committee, and it's really hard to enforce this rule, especially because now we are using the online program to vote. So these are the reasons why we think it should we should remove this part. I will now move to take out nominees. So I currently our bylaw states as it is in 2.6 allocation of votes, which is this row up to see the vote one. Yes, here. So I would like to move to take out nominees for a position in the IVSA officials are not allowed to place votes in the election for this respective position. And then the aforementioned section of the bylaws would then state the following. I will read it short. Each active member organization shall select 2 votes. Each active member organization shall select 1 delegate in the session of the General Assembly who shall take the votes of the country. IVSA does not allow voting by proxy.
So the motion on the floor right now is to accept these bylaw amendments, just explained. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any questions? Let's see if the third one stuff that's going on. Yes.
Major, I visit Turkey, in number 31. So my question will be, actually, it's not a question, it's a statement. The thing is, extra members can travel, they have travel endorsements and reimbursements, and also that they pay in coffee. So, I mean, I understand the position of, like, if someone is coming, if there's only one person coming from one country, I understand that they would like to vote, but I think rather than 2 votes, it should be 1 vote because they have this exception that they can travel easily. And they also like I said, it's all like financial aspects. You know, so it's easy for someone with an extra or as an official to be here. And I don't think that it's fair considering that. Yeah, rather than 2 votes, it should be 1 vote. And if there are 2 people from that country, it could be like 1 extra and then 1 regular delegate. It could be 2 votes.
Okay, anyone wants to respond to that?
One of the things I need to say extra, reading number 10. First of all, very important distinction is that Expo does not have a vote because we do not have a country. I do not come from a country. I am an Expo currently, so I cannot vote at all in general. The second thing is regarding the 2 votes being less than 4-1 that was mentioned by the previous speaker. So the votes, the 2 votes do not represent the person who is standing here, they represent the country as a whole. I think that's a very important thing. So this does mean that we would kind of discriminate, so to say, a country that was not able to send more than 1 person. Because if we are enforcing this rule for the elections, we should enforce it for all of the others, meaning that if we have a 1-person delegation from any country, in general, they would have only one vote for all of the decisions, including for the bylaw amendments or whatever is brought up. So I think that would discriminate underprivileged countries that cannot send more delegates.
Anyone else wants to speak?
I will say easily bidding number 64. First of all, I would like to clarify that the motion on the floor is not to allow extra to vote, is to allow people who are nominated for a position, any position, in the IVSA officials to also cast a vote during the voting for the election. Second of all, the discussion about the number of votes is out of order because it has nothing to do with this topic, so it's not something that has to be discussed right now. We are only discussing about the motion to strike out the sentence that nominees are not allowed to place a vote in the election for the position they're running for. So please, I would like to ask you to discuss about it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wants to speak on this? Right. Are there any objections to approving the bylaw as it is written right now? Okay. What's that?
I would like to move a motion to go into a standard E so that bodies can meet out with their delegates, because this is the first bylaw we are bringing up, so maybe it would be a good time for you to talk of it, so.
All right, just to clarify, some have just moved that you're going to stay there, you're not allowed to leave the room, and you can discuss with your bodies to just, yeah, clear what's going on, and then after a few minutes, we'll continue. All right? So, second, are there any objections to going into the standard E's? Seeing none, we're at the standard E's for 5 minutes. Then I would like to call the meeting back to order at 14:05 UTC plus 8 Bali time, and we'll continue with discussing the bylaw amendment. That's normal, we all do that. So what I did is I forgot to entertain a motion, and the motion I need to entertain is the right to speak. So people that are joining us, for example, from other organizations, they may not be allowed to vote, but they want to speak as well. So would everyone like me to help me with that and move that? Raise your hand. So I move, what you say is I move to allow observers the right to speak.
Jesus Hernandez, IVSA USA, meeting number 47. I move the motion to allow observers to speak.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Are there any objections to allowing observers to speak? Seeing none, observers are now granted the right to speak in the GA when we get them. Moving on, the clap. And another one, which is, I would like to entertain a motion to limit the debate with the speaking time to 3 minutes. Now, what does that mean is that, for example, discussion as we have right now, sometimes can last way longer. So what I want to suggest is that every person who speaks, and we have a stopwatch, is not allowed to speak for longer than 3 minutes. That way we can make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak. And if your 3 minutes are over, you sit down again, allow someone else to speak, and the next time we will just continue. That's the idea. Would anyone like to move that?
Good energy, IVSA India, meeting number 17. I so move.
Wonderful. Is there any discussion? Questions?
I'm going to choose IVSA Expo being number 10. Yeah, I would just like to clarify a bit. Why we are doing it is because according to our rules of order newly revised, the debate limitation is 10 minutes per speaker. Like a person can speak for 10 minutes. I think that it would be too much because first of all, you tend to lose your train of thoughts. Also, other delegates might not listen to you from after some point. So 3 minutes feels like a correct amount of time to say the key points. And if needed, you can always join the discussion all over the place again. So it's not like you have only 3 minutes to speak right now. Also, I feel like 10 minutes is more of a speech rather than part of the discussion. So that's just what I mean.
All right. Is there any more discussion? Questions? Any objections? Seeing none, debate is now limited to 3 minutes. And since we probably all have been wondering where lunch went, I have another one. The chair would like to entertain a motion to go into recess so we can have lunch. Okay. I need someone help.
IVSA Tower, budget number 3, I don't know.
Is there any discussion on going into recess? Are there any objections into going into recess? Seeing none, we're now into recess. You can clap. You have to stay because there are a few announcements I want to make before we go to lunch. Too much you want to go first? Okay. Fine, I'll go first because I made a little list with things I wanted to remind you of. Because you just right here for all of us just getting used to everything, so there are a few rules and things that have been mentioned before that I want to just repeat. So first of all, is the way we dress at university. I know for some people this was kind of addressed a bit late because they were already on the way and it's
bit complicated. But as you can tell, it's important that you dress semi-formal, which means for us here that we cover our shoulders, our knees, and our toes. So keep that in mind. So like open shoes are not allowed. So keep that in mind when we go to GA, which is almost every day. So that's the thing. Then the toilets. As I said before, you cannot flush toilet paper, and this has gone horribly wrong in so many ways that before that I'm just going to say it again. You cannot flush toilet paper. Please throw it in the bin next to it, otherwise the OC is going to be very sad. We don't want that. So one more thing is these days. You've probably seen them around. These are offerings, which is this region. If you do not know what they're for, I want to tell you one thing: don't step on them, don't trip on them, don't touch them. Important. If you want to learn what they're for, talk to someone from Indonesia. That's a quest. All right. Then we go to the hotel, or well, more rules about there. I'm just going to be your nagging mom. I'm sorry. For swimming, we have a very nice swimming pool at the hotel. But I just want to make clear that it's under no circumstances allowed to swim under influence. If you have a beer, no swimming. That may seem a bit strict, but this is for our own safety, and we don't want anyone to endanger themselves. That also means that when we're having an event next to the pool, we're not going to go swimming. So if everybody is like dressed up for cultural evening, for example, don't throw people in the pool. Like, it might seem funny, but let's just be nice to each other there. Other than that, as you've seen last night, swimming is technically allowed until midnight, more or less. So on any other evening, you're more than welcome to swim in the pool. I haven't yet, but I really want to. So I get the feeling. But keep in mind that if you had a drink, please don't swim. Then the motorbikes, as some of you may have seen, the traffic is a bit crazy out here, or at least for me. So through the app that some of you have downloaded, Grab, you can also rent one of those bikes yourself. Technically, it's illegal in Bali for foreigners to rent these bikes, and they are not very strict with controlling it, but we still want to ask all of you not to do this, because just for your own safety, you're not used to the traffic here, and as you've seen, it can be very dangerous. So we would all like to ask all of you not to make use of that, and it's technically the law. Just don't break that. Be safe. That's nice. All right. More things. Water. You cannot drink tap water. Also very important. You will get very sick if you drink tap water. Maybe you're used to drinking tap water in your own country. Don't do that here. We have a nice other thing over there, which is the big bottle with the thing on top. I saw some people struggling with it earlier. The idea is that you press the button, just hold your bottle below it, and then it fills up your bottle. Easy. So stay hydrated. It's very important. That's what it says in my bottle as well, so I don't forget. And yeah, don't drink tap water. Easy. Then I have another thing. I had a list. Last night I was sitting by the pool and I found this very cute lion, which I think is like a protector for a table or something. I don't know this. If nobody wants it, I'm keeping it. That's how it goes with Lost and Found. Is it yours? Oh, perfect. There you go. So that's what I'm going to do with Lost and Found every day. If no one wants it, I'll keep it. Then I get freebies. Oh, no. See, I get more notes every time. So more about swimming. We have a swimming pool, but also a beach nearby. Beach at night is a big no-no. Beach is very bad to be, as in the ocean is very dangerous to be swimming at night. So I would also ask you not to swim at night at the beach. Please don't, because it's very dangerous. So I'm not really putting it up there. I did my lesson found. Also, for the next GA, we'll be handing out a GA bingo to keep you guys alert with all sorts of fun things happening, like, you know, technical difficulties. Check. Microphone rating. Check. You'll see them when they get there. So Nabil will be handing them out later. For now, give it to Timo. More announcements?
Hello, everyone. I hope it's still going fine. I'll give you the announcements regarding lunch. So we'll have lunch now from 2:15 until 3:30. The buffet is here when you just go out of the room. Before every plate is written what's in it, so check it out if you have any direct restriction. To eat, you can eat here in the room. So if you look on the right side of the seat, like if you open the armrest, you can find a little table, so you can put your plate on if you want to. During lunch, please try to go with other adults. Like you don't need to sit with your both as in GA, so feel free to go sit with new people. Lunch will be until 3:30. And after lunch, we have 15 minutes where we will prepare the international stands. So the OC will put the table because the tables will be at the same place as the buffet. So I will ask you to not get food then, because then it will be done. And then international stands begins at 3:45, where you have like 10-15 minutes to prepare your table. So we ask you just this morning to bring everything for international stands. So that's to promote your school, your annual. And we will have international stands starting at 4 until 10 before 5. So we have 10 minutes before we start GA at 5. Also important, please do not eat on the couches. No food here, no drinks, so that they don't get nasty. And for the rest, I wish you a good lunch indeed. Thank you.